G'day guys, Sim here, and welcome to another League Racing video. I know, it's getting a little bit repetitive, and I am planning on bringing more content to the channel, potentially in the form of open lobbies highlights, and potentially some career mode. I haven't fully decided on that. Career mode isn't something that's interested me too much on this game. We'll just see how that goes. But this league race is round 2 of Racespec Esports PC Pacific around Bahrain. It wasn't the most exciting race. There were still quite a good smaller battles throughout, I will admit. But the middle of the race was a little bit boring, I will admit. I possibly skipped quite a bit of that. But coming into qualifying, once again, strategies hasn't changed. Idea is soft to hard all the way to the end. Just keep that. Hope the strategy works out. Hopefully no safety cars and we can get a clean run to the end on that strategy, which is the preferred strategy. But coming on to the end of our first qualifying lap right about now, I'm making a habit of it. It was another really very safe lap. I wasn't particularly happy with it, and you'll see.
Man, that was
Not happy with it at all. It was a 26.3. Our next lap, still too safe again. I'm only 2/10 up, and I'm still not even setting a time below a 26.
Man, I'm still not even.
There it is. I wasn't happy with it at all. But coming on to our final lap, it's now really important that we improve massively this time, because we've dropped down to 4th, and that's not where I want to be. Lotus WRX, a tier 1 driver from AFR, is currently above us. So braking late into turn 1, down into first gear, short shifting to 3rd, holding it in 4th through there, learning from my mistakes, and already a 10th.5 up through those first few corners. So a much better run through there. Braking late into turn 4, down to 2nd gear, short shifting to 3rd and 4th on exit, and nearly 2/10 up, or actually 2/10 up by the end of sector 1. So a much better first sector from us. Braking late into turn 8 now, down to 2nd gear, short shifting to 3rd on exit, on the power nice and early, holding in that 2/10 at the moment. But braking late here into turn 10, 2nd gear again, short shifting into 3rd, on the power nice and early, 4th gear, DRS active, and a much better exit there, now nearly 4/10 up, so this lap is looking really good currently. We get a really nice run through turn 11 there, turn 12... You know, it's flat out, not a lot of time to be gained there, but we brake a little bit late and just missed the apex of turn 13 there, having to leave it off the throttle a little too late so we don't run wide and invalidate. That really compromises us. And then the final corner here, I just clipped the inside curb there, and that loses a whole bunch of time, in the end losing about half a 10th. So really not great, and you'll see, we don't improve our position, we improved our time.
That's two terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't happy. And that leaves us currently in 4th place. But as we go to the standings, you'll see Lotus has a 5-place grid penalty, and I still don't know why or how he got that. But that promotes us up to 3rd place, and Lotus all the way down to 8th place. So really lucky. So coming onto the start of the race now, moved up a position because of that, and once again just looking for a good start. We haven't quite managed it in any race yet. And that's all we're looking for. Lights go out. Blue flags for some reason. Not sure what that bug was.
I got blue flags.
I think it distracted me a little bit, because Tao's got the jump on me here into turn 1. So we're doing our best to fend him off here. Unfortunately, we're blocked in a bit by Mikau in front. We're not really battling those guys. We're just holding off Tao here, as Tao goes for the move into turn 4 here. We get a little bit of a screen freeze. I wasn't happy with his movement there. I don't know why, but
he's made it work. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he gets through on us, and we're down a position already. So currently,
I may have a small fear of Tal now.
Potentially through our incident last week, which was a racing
I'm scared to get
incident.
too close,
that may have influenced my reaction to his move a little bit. But now we're back down into 4th place, and the Mercedes of
the Merc's already up to
of
5th
XJSCH, I don't know how to pronounce that, is already up to 6th place on the mediums. And we know, apart from his penalties, his pace was really, really good last week in Australia. So he could be really concerning
for
this race. But here you'll hear, we're just now planning on chilling behind Tao. We don't want to be in front of him wasting our fuel, wasting our ERS. We just want to use DRS to the best we can, or to our advantage, and just save as much of our resources as we can for the rest of this race. But we also don't want that to end up being our downfall and letting others attack us by being too safe in this race. But we come to the end of lap 2 now, and the safety car has been deployed, so the one thing I really didn't want with my strategy was a safety car at any point, really. But
that's too early.
Jacob and I had both decided it was too early to pit for hards or anything. But Tal decided to go in the pit, and I can confirm he jumped on the mediums and threw himself into a two-stop strategy.
I don't think
on two sets of mediums. And
second set of meds would be pretty much
at this point we were pretty confident that that was the wrong decision. We were fairly relaxed about that. But now skipping on to the safety car restart. We've got Rudy and Jacob Meister behind me, and Tao quite a bit down the field, I believe, after that pit stop. Not massively. The safety car restart, we don't get a terrible restart. We get a bit of a jump on Rudy. We're a little far back from Mikau to do anything, which, you know, we're not battling him anyway. He's way too fast for me at this point. Hopefully one day I can improve to battle him and Revo a bit, but I think that day is very far away, as we get a little bit of oversteer out of
with cold tires.
turn 3. But we're just trying to stay in DRS range potentially of Mikau, but it's end of sector 1 already, and we're already on the edge of that 1 second gap. So the pace of these two guys in front is way too much for me to be able to keep up. So basically at this point, knowing Tal had already pitted and was on the medium tyre, and myself was on the soft tyre, still having to pit, I basically decided, right, we're not keeping up with the guys in front. I've just got to settle into my own rhythm, keep myself consistent, and you'll see.
Far out, Mikau's quick.
We're trying to pull out the gap now, so we're 7 tenths in front
the same
currently.
Amount quicker than me that I am against Rudy.
Oh, it's 7 tenths down on our best lap currently. Now 6 tenths on the next lap. So our consistency at this point is very good, even on 60% worn tyres. We decide to stay out a few more laps than was decided through our earlier strategy, just because the safety car was out for, I think, 3 laps. So it was out for quite a while. And on lap 11, we jump into the pits to jump onto the hards to the end of this race. You'll see. Tal is only 2 seconds behind, and he's gone past already. So Tal
not gonna hold Mikau up at all. Nope.
Is now in front of us, although he still does have to pit again. So that is still in the back of my mind that, you know, he's on 2 sets of faster compound tyres for the rest of this race.
About how awful it is.
And he could potentially jump us on the next pit stop. It just depends. He might gain a lot of time on us. We'll just have to find out. As we come out 3 seconds in front of our teammate, so that gap didn't change from before his pit stop, so we didn't lose any time by going through the extra lap. We skip ahead to the end of the next lap, and this was a theme. We go to overtake Aussie Suspect, and he goes into the pits, so that was the first instance of it.
Sneaky little bit of DRS and slipstream.
I did at least manage to get DRS this time. But now it's all about settling into a rhythm on these tyres. So we're now trying to chase down the Renault of Moise and our teammate from AFR, Hobbsy, in the racing point further in front as Moise pits.
We might have been outplayed with the
strategy. And also the Mercedes from last week pit as well.
Faster than Rudy, so
but yeah, now a 3.7 second gap to Hobbsy, so we are closing in that gap. And on this next lap, Tal is pitted, and we're looking to see what the gap might be. We've got him covered, but there's a potential that Jacob might also jump him as well. So we're going to stay on board for a little bit just to see how that turns out. 6.9 second gap to Jacob and a 6.7 gap to Tal. But unfortunately, that didn't occur. So now it's a straight-up battle between Tal and myself.
Still at the moment.
To start with, my tyres were still quite good. I was pulling at a gap a bit more still.
Yeah, he's boxing now.
Here we go, trying to overtake
DRS, the prick.
He wouldn't give me DRS. He went straight into the pits. He wasn't letting me have any of that. But now skipping ahead, I think 2 laps each time, where Tal is really starting to close in. And skipping ahead to lap 23 now. it's a 2.3 second gap. So I think we stay on board for these final laps from lap 26, and you'll see it is a 1.4 second gap. So potentially now we could come under threat a little bit here with 3 laps to go. We have to keep him out of that DRS range, or he might have the opportunity to go for an overtake on a softer compound of tyre. Not necessarily fresher at this point, but he could have an opportunity. As you see, he gets a mega exit out of the first complex of corners there, and he's almost in DRS range. In fact, he is now. He just needs to gain a few hundredths by the detection point, and he's in our DRS. Thankfully, we have a lot of ERS still saved up, like over 50%, but our fuel mix is a little bit low for my liking, only plus 0.2 laps of fuel, so we will be able to defend if he catches up, but only potentially a couple of moves here and there. So now we're just using a little bit of it here and there to try and just keep him on the edge of DRS, not quite let him have it. You'll see, we're doing just enough at the moment. But it's gonna be difficult for the rest of this race. Lotus also in 5th place is no longer of a concern to Jacob either. I think at this point he had 13 seconds of penalties.
Pull out again
so Jacob is currently in virtually in 5th place. So currently we're holding down P3 and P5. Mikau actually pitted for soft tyres and came out in front of me. That's the pace of those guys, so his fastest lap of the race was actually fast enough to beat most people's qualifying laps, which was kind of insane. But the next lap now, Tao is just out of DRS range at that detection point, so it's going to be a tough one, but his exits out of that first set of corners are still a lot better than mine. That's something I've still got to work on for this track, I believe, and he's now within 0.8 of us, so he's almost guaranteed of DRS at the next detection point if he stays that close. And you'll see he's now within 0.7 going through turn 8 now. So this is getting really dangerous. We don't want to give him the opportunity into the final lap. And you'll see we are really pushing now. We have a massive lock-up into turn 10. Thankfully get a good enough exit that we can defend if or hold him back a little bit more. And just hold him at the edge of that 1 second gap. Although we get not a great run through there, and for a moment he brings the gap back down to 0.5, but he must have gotten a worse exit because it's now back out to a second. So Tal is really pushing. At this point, though, I was starting to think I might have the pace over him. I thought potentially those medium tyres might just have taken all the wear out of themselves.
Yeah, he's out of my DRS range.
And now he's out of DRS range and losing time to us now. It's a 1.2 second gap, so he's starting to fall away. But we can't allow ourselves to make a single mistake this lap, though, or he may get close enough to go for the move. And after last week, I didn't want that to happen. I couldn't allow it. So we're just trying to keep it nice and clean, nice and smooth for this final lap, and just do our very best just to bring it home at this point. You'll see it's now an 0.8 gap, so you know, he is gaining on us, but I still at this point don't think he's close enough to go for a move at all. So just trying to, you know, although we do lock it up a bit there, we're just trying to keep it cruisy. I don't want to make any stupid mistakes. Like I have made a lot of mistakes previously in league races at the end of a race when I've been under pressure, and I just didn't want that to happen in this one. I just had to bring it home, get a podium. That's all I really wanted out of this one. I want to get as many points for Williams as possible, and just try and secure 3rd place in the championship as early as possible. Potentially, as I get better in this game, I might be able to go for a higher place in the championship, but a lot of time to go. But then that's the end of the race.
Jesus.
We finished in 3rd, no penalties.
That was stressful at the end.
Same as last week, last race in AFR.
You've got Lotus
no
covered,
penalties there, and very happy to bring that one home after the
Jinx.
race at Australia.
Much appreciated.
But yeah, it was in the end, a very, very uneventful race, apart from really the first few laps and the last few laps where Tal and I were in the same place on track together. Anyone that I tried to overtake pretty much boxed as I caught up to them. Really a bit of a boring race, but hopefully this Sunday, so tomorrow is when, if this video is coming out tonight, will be AFR Tier 2 around Vietnam. I will be streaming it from 8:30 PM Australian Eastern. So if you want to see that live, go follow me on Twitch, that'll be linked down in the description. If you want to see the highlight video, that'll be out probably Tuesday. So if you want to do that, click subscribe, like, whatever, and we might see you around a bit more in future.